Dara. I now call Deputy Michael McNamara.
Thank you very much, Lascan Corla. I'd like to commend Deputy Flanagan and the technical group for raising this issue and giving this House the opportunity to debate what I believe is a very important and increasingly important issue. I'd also like to thank the technical group for offering me speaking time when it appeared like I wouldn't be able to get time tonight as opposed to tomorrow when I'm due to travel to a meeting. Lascan Corla, in 1996, a book called Rethinking the War on Drugs in Ireland was published by Cork University Press, hardly a revolutionary outfit. It was written by a former law lecturer of mine, so maybe I'm slightly biased, but I found it a rather convincing read. I thought a serious argument was raised. In the years since 1996, I would ask the Minister, what serious rethinking of the war on drugs in Ireland has taken place? Because with the greatest of respect to the government counter-motion tonight, it would appear that there has been none. The war on drugs was declared by none other than Richard Nixon in 1971, and he said that the war would result in a drugs-free world. Well, now more than 40 years on, there's a growing movement to declare that war unwinnable. Not least because there are more drug users in every country in the world, and I dare say in every constituency in Ireland. 250 million worldwide is the UN estimate. Illicit drugs are now the third most valuable industry in the world, after food and oil, estimated to be worth $450 billion a year. All of it in the control of criminals. So whether it's in this city, this country, Colombia, the United States, Scariff, Innisdiamond or Clarecastle, or even Cootehill, it's in the hands of criminals. And we know that drugs are dangerous, Minister. That is indeed an argument that has to be taken seriously. Just as we know that alcohol is very dangerous, and nicotine and smoking is very serious. And I would commend you and Minister Riley for the initiatives that you have both proposed and, importantly, are putting into action to combat the use of alcohol, the misuse of alcohol and the misuse of smoking in Ireland. 7,000 people in Ireland die from smoking-related disease every year. These deaths are preventable, but nevertheless they occur. Now, you raised the point that if you legalise drugs that you won't eradicate criminality from it. Well, of course you won't. I mean, just tonight a poteen still was broken up, I believe, in Deputy Riley's constituency, and indeed I've no doubt that there are people selling illegal cigarettes across this city as we speak. But nevertheless, we are able to control nicotine. We're able to control the amount of nicotine that's sold, who it's sold to, by and large, and get a clear picture of the problem. We have no such clear picture in Ireland of drug use. We do know that drug use is increasing. The CEO of Merchants Quay Ireland revealed that the scale of the country's drug problem is increasing, and he said the spread of drug use outside of Dublin was also an ongoing trend with continued demand for our services at regional level. So that's 17 years after Rethinking the War on Drugs in Ireland was published, drug use continues to increase in this country. Now, Minister, in 2006, the adult caution scheme was introduced, whereby Gardaí could grant an adult caution to somebody for a list of offences if they believed it was beneficial. Now, it was proposed that the possession of cannabis, not possession with intent to supply, but possession of cannabis be included in that. It just fell off the bottom of the list. Since then, additional offences have been added in which an adult caution can be issued, but still possession of cannabis isn't included. Now, I asked the Minister for Justice in how many cases the Probation Act was applied for possession of cannabis in Ireland, and it would appear to be about 1,500 on average every year. Now, that's 1,500 people who are apprehended. A file is prepared, the Garda shows up in court, the accused is brought to court, and at the end of it all, the Probation Act is applied. Now, I would ask, is that a useful use of Garda resources in your constituency, in mine, Deputy Collins's or Deputy Flanagan's? I don't think it is. So I would urge the Minister to seriously consider, and the Minister for Justice, to consider adding possession of cannabis to the adult caution scheme. Now, that doesn't mean that a caution will always be applied, but if the Garda in question believes that that's the best course of action, then he can do so. And that was what was originally proposed by the Minister for Justice as far back as 2006. And the other thing I would urge, Minister, is that a serious examination, because I don't regrettably accept, while a serious body of work has been done by this government when it comes to alcohol abuse and smoking, I don't believe that the counter-motion reflects a serious consideration of the drug problem that we have in Ireland now. That a serious commission be established of senior policing experts, revenue officials and doctors and people from the medical world to examine what would, and I agree with you, Minister, it is a radical proposal to legalise drugs, especially as we have sort of built ourselves into this war on drugs mentality. So it would be radical. But I would urge you, Minister, to set up a commission of senior Gardaí, senior revenue people, and senior policing experts worldwide, including maybe the UNODC and other organisations that work on this issue, to examine what would the effect, because countries, we are now out of kilter with Western Europe, with the majority of states in Western Europe, with how we treat possession of cannabis. And yes, cannabis is becoming more dangerous, because as you said yourself, the variants which can be grown profitably by criminals in Ireland are more dangerous than those which used to be imported into Ireland by other criminals. But criminals will do what's most profitable without any concern for what's beneficial. And I would urge you, Minister, to move beyond the war mentality, because I fear it is a war which cannot be won, towards seeing what is a workable solution to the drugs problem across this state.